I officially have $0 to my name because I just took out every penny that I've ever saved. And this is on top of the deposit I've already made to buy a house. And wow, down payments are really large and I'm broke now.
Being house poor is a nightmare that many new Americans and homeowners are waking up to because they're learning that they are married to their mortgage debt. Now, we see this in distressed selling surging across the nation. And you guys, here's the other beautiful thing. As price cuts hit a brand new record, and we have updated Zillow data that we're going to go over today that is showing that 40% of the top US metro areas are showing signs of a home price crash. And on top of that, I'm now amending my own definition of what a price crash really is, which was 15% from peak. I'm now increasing that, you guys, to 20% minimum. And also understand this, that generally, if you purchased in the last 3 years, you just threw away your purchasing power and are no longer a player in the game of purchasing opportunities. Now, many Americans were bamboozled and tricked by the media and the industry professionals into purchasing homes. You guys remember the whole date the rate thing, and the rates are going to go down in 1 year, and better buy now because there's going to be a flood of buyers that are coming? Those people who said that, which is pretty much everyone, were dead broke wrong. Now the supply and demand pendulum is swinging back into the hands of buyers. And today we'll review Zillow's most recent housing market update. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the 3 main sets of data that you guys want to monitor on the housing market. We're also going to go into the top 2. Okay, so the top 2 industry secrets that the industry does not want you to know. And I'm going to give you guys an update on my own personal journey of purchasing a house. But before I do that, happy Sunday and welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. You guys already know that this video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Zillow's most recent housing market report, and this is going to go over the entire month of April. And I've highlighted a few important data sets, and I'll take you to the 3 most important data sets that you guys are going to want to follow if you want to see prices crashing. Now, the first thing here, guys, and this is one important data set, newly pending listing sales, so sales, right, are down. They're not up right now, they are down, and they fell 2.5% year over year. And that's saying something because the housing market has been a dumpster fire. Now, the other thing, sellers are more enthusiastic as new listings rose 7.6% year over year. That's another really important data set. The other thing, competition among buyers is fierce in the Northeast and more relaxed in the South. Interesting. Activity in the housing market is warming up with the weather. Newly pending sales ticked up 3.4% from March to April as new listings rose 9.8%. But remember, you guys, they're clearly financial biased because we just read data that's saying it's actually down year over year. It's supposed to go up month over month because we're entering seasonality. So you got to look at year over year. However, economic uncertainty seems to have disrupted the home shopping season, resulting in slower competition among buyers compared to previous springs. Now listen to this nonsense. In April, many households didn't know what was next for their jobs, investment portfolios, and budgets. As a result, some potential buyers sat on the sidelines awaiting further clarity before making significant purchases, including homes. But I'm going to tell you guys, people aren't buying right now because they're forced on the sideline because they cannot qualify for a mortgage. You can't be making $70,000 a year and expect to get qualified for a $400,000 house. So what they're saying right now, although maybe a small percentage of people are like me that choose to be on the sideline, most people, they can't buy. And as you guys know, most people use their emotions to purchase real estate. And that's why there's such a high percentage of buyers regret. Despite lower mortgage rates this year that have dropped the cost of mortgage payments by 1.3%, newly pending sales are down compared to last April, so year over year, by 2.5%. With sales lagging behind the flow of sellers returning to the market, and here's the supply and demand pendulum swinging, inventory is rising. There were 1.2 million homes for sale in April. That's 19.6% higher year over year. So guys, listen, that's a massive surge, 20% higher year over year. very good progress in the housing market as far as purchasing and getting back to a more reasonable, balanced housing market, giving buyers more options with less competition than last year. Sellers are increasingly using price cuts to bridge the gap to buyers. Nearly 25% of listings on Zillow received a price cut in April, a record high for this time of year, going back all the way to 2018. Home values are rising at a more moderate pace than the previous April cycles. Of course, competition varies regionally. The strongest buyers markets are on the West Coast and northeastern US, where geological constraints and strict building regulations have produced severe housing shortages. In contrast, buyers have contributed to an inventory recovery in the southeastern US, producing markets where buyers hold the negotiating power. So it's still bifurcated, but it is changing very, very quickly. Now, as far as the top 3 data sets, here's what I want you guys to keep your eyes on. Days on markets, new listings coming to the market, because new listings will show us signs of foreclosures and distressed sales, and obviously price cuts. So days on market first, the #1 metro area, pretty shocker right here, because remember when Miami was surging? Well, it's now an average DOM, days on market, of 54 days. The #2 is also a Florida metro area, with Jacksonville, Florida at 46 days, San Antonio #3 at 36 days, New Orleans 34, Austin 34, all in that little panhandle right there, Orlando 33, Tampa 29, Phoenix, Arizona 28, Atlanta, Georgia at 27. When we look at new listings, the second data set I want you guys to look at is, yes, this is surging. Okay, we have a 3-year, 4-year high, but what I want you guys to pay attention to is where we were at in 2022. So even though it's good, new listings are going up, it's still not going up at the pace that it was before lockdown. So we want to see new listings continue to surge. Regardless, it is up year over year, but not at the pace that we would generally like to see. So if that does go over 2022 and 2021, look out. The third data set is right here, which is price cuts. And you guys can go drop down here and you guys can look at different dates and different cities, but look at the price cuts here. And this is the panhandle that I was telling you guys about right here. So you guys see Florida is in massive distress. The sellers are trying to vacate Florida. A lot of it's second homes, vacation homes, Airbnbs, and things like that. You can see it also happening here in Texas, but also you guys can see that here in Denver and Colorado Springs area, as well as Salt Lake City, Utah, Ogden, Utah. I've been there. Provo as well. Here's Boise City. I have been there as well. Take a look at Northwest right here. Spokane, Washington, 25%. Seattle, Washington, 25% as well. Look at Stockton, 28%. But when we go to the East Coast, you guys see about 13% right here, 12% for Hartford. So it is still bifurcated. When we take a look at home values, Zillow is saying the typical home value is $365,887. So if you're making $70,000 a year, I'm going to tell you right now, you can't even come close to qualifying for the average valued home in the US. The average income doesn't qualify or even come close to qualifying for that 365,000. And that's why I constantly tell you guys, that's why prices for homes right now anyways are not sustainable. Mom and pop just cannot afford it. The typical mortgage payment, assuming a 20% down payment, is $1,903. That does not count your taxes and insurance. Home values climbed month over month, however, in 48 of the 50 largest metro areas. And it should be 50 because, again, it's spring home buying season right now. However, it did fall on a monthly basis in just one metro area. And as you guessed it, it's Miami, down 0.1%. But when we look at the year over year data, which is way more revealing, we see that 30, okay, so year over year, 30 of the 50 largest metro areas are up in value. Okay, great. That's how it should be. All 50, not just 30. Home values are down from a year ago in 20 of the 50 top metro areas, representing 40% with year over year price decline. Austin's leading the way, down 5.1% year over year. You guys that are watching Austin know that Austin's down year over year over year over year. Tampa also down 5%. San Antonio down 3.2%. Dallas down 3%. You guys can see how Texas is in distress. And Phoenix actually down 2.8% year over year. New listings did increase 7.6% this month year over year. New listings, however, are down 19% from where we were pre-pandemic. So not much further to go, especially being that that pendulum has shifted. There were 19.6 more listings active in April compared to last year. So if you want to look at the active listings, That's up 20% year over year. Absolutely fantastic. Look at price cuts. 24.5% of listings in April's had price cuts. You guys, that is a record high for this time of year. New pending sales are down 2.5% year over year. Market heat index shows the nation is currently, according to Zillow anyways, a seller's market. But I'm going to tell you, if you're out there purchasing real estate, treat it like your buyer's market and do not settle on the biggest financial transaction of your life. Just be patient and just wait a little longer. Now, here's some bad news, you guys. Rents are not seeing much relief, not much at all. Asking rents increased 0.5% month over month in April. The pre-pandemic average for this time of year was 0.7, so a little bit slower, but still astronomical. Rents are now up 3.4%. One major metro area that did decline with rent, which is Los Angeles, down 0.1%, possibly because of the fires. Now, rents are up year over year in 47 of the 50 top metro areas. Before going into the 2 industry secrets, I want to talk to you guys about what you should be focusing on right now if you want to find a deal of your dreams. There's really 3 things. If you want to find a house and you want to purchase it and you want to be a homeowner: credit, income, and assets. So remember, CIA, credit, income, and assets, to CYA. So CIA to CYA. Credit. Your credit generally, the maximum credit score generally is 760 to 780. Once you get above 760 to 780, it really doesn't impact your interest rate at all anymore, but you want to get your credit score up. Biggest way to do that is make sure you have no credit card debt, at least no balances on the trade lines. Credit cards are the only account that has something called utilization ratio, and you never want to go over 30% of your credit line. So that's credit. Income, remember this: part-time jobs, overtime, bonus, or commission. Self-employment, you need a full 2-year history to be able to use that to qualify for a mortgage. So don't automatically think because you have 2 jobs, you can use that income to qualify. Now, remember, when it comes to income, that is known as debt to income ratio when applying for a mortgage. Debt to income ratio is the gauge that's designed to see if you can afford the house. So you're going to want to make as much money as possible, and you're going to want to reduce as much of your debt payments as possible. Now, when it comes to assets, remember, you guys, the minimum down payment for FHA is 3.5%. The minimum down payment for conventional is generally 5%, but with some first-time home buyer programs called Home Possible and Home Ready, you can actually purchase a home with a conventional mortgage at actually only 3% down. Now, remember, when it comes to using money to buy a house, the Patriot Act applies. So you got to source where you get the cash. In other words, you can't go dig up a whole bunch of gold, sell it, and use it as your down payment unless it's been in your bank for 2 months, because they go back for 2 months. They look at all your cash deposits. If there's any cash deposits, they reverse that out of the money that you can use to purchase a home. So if you're going to buy a house, make sure there's no crazy deposits in your bank accounts for the last 2 months, or rather whatever account you use to purchase a house. Also, last thing, generally, if you have a pension or 401k, you can use that money as a down payment for your house and get a very tiny fee, but you're going to want to contact your provider to find out for sure. Now, what I want to do next is let's listen to a video from a single mother who just purchased a home, essentially went broke, and now her entire life has turned upside down. I'm telling you that because it's important that you guys understand that once you make a decision to own a home, you're done. You're no longer a player. You're married to your mortgage, and potentially you're going to be blown in the wind. Let's listen to what she has to say.
A home as a single parent is a bad idea. I'm a single parent who bought a home, and I am thousands of dollars in debt. I thought that buying a home would be the best thing for my daughter and I. I didn't take into consideration property taxes. My mortgage went from $1,400 to $1,900 in 2 years. I'm in debt because I had 3 water leaks. Not only did I have to pay the rise in property taxes, but I had to pay for the maintenance in my home. I definitely believe that home ownership requires 2 incomes. All of the things that I could do before I bought the home, all of the things I could provide to my daughter before I bought my home, I can no longer do. I am what they call house poor. If you are a single parent looking to buy a home, I hope you have thousands of dollars in savings. Equity is cool and all, but when it comes at a price, I don't think I'm willing to pay it anymore.
Don't forget, when it comes to your mortgage payment, the only thing that's fixed if you have a fixed interest rate is your interest. Your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance has been adjusting and skyrocketing like crazy and bamboozling so many people. It's absolutely astonishing. And the reason that is because of fraud, but that's a video for another day. I'm going to go into the top 2 industry secrets that it's really important that you guys learn that the industry doesn't want you to know. The reason they don't want you to know that is because they want you to pay them to do it for you so that they make a commission. The first thing that we're going to talk about is how to do a market analysis and how to really understand whether or not you're getting a good deal. Remember, you guys, real estate is super hyper local, and so you have to analyze the subject property's subdivision. Now, unfortunately, I live in Texas. That's non-disclosure, so I'm going to use the state of Florida, and I'm going to use Zillow, and I'm going to show you guys how to look at comparable sales. A comparable sale is just a home that has sold, because that's how appraisers generate the value for your house. So what I'm going to use is Florida. So you guys see Florida right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom into an area that I want to purchase in, say right here. Now, this is how you set this up. You go to the menu here, and instead of saying for sale, you select sold properties. Then you go to more right here, and you make sure that everything is checked. And really what I want to make sure is I want to look at homes that have sold in the last 12 months. So I'm going to select 12 months. I'm going to apply that. And it says in this general area, there's 171 sold homes. But what I'm going to do is, remember, I only want to look at homes that sold in the subdivision of the home that I want to purchase in. So I'm going to click this draw tool right here, and I'm going to draw around the subdivision that I want to purchase in. So say that this whole area here in Tampa is a subdivision. So I'm going to draw a square around it like this. I'm going to hit apply, and now I have 16 comps in that subdivision. So what I would do at that point is I would add all of these together, and then I would divide to see what the average price per square foot was. Now, obviously, I wouldn't use these lots. There's lots here that's very interesting, and a new home. So there's lots, new homes, and existing. I mean, this is, wow, this is an interesting area. A lot of new building in this area. Either way, you guys, that would give me a good idea of what the prices of homes are per square foot. And then I would do this. I would go to realestatemindset.org, this website right here. I've reorganized it. I would go to learn how to buy a home before you buy a home, take this class, how to do a market analysis, and then I would click the subdivision analysis form. I would then download the form. I would complete this form, and it will tell me what wedge and what my cash flow is for this home. Industry secret number 1, purchasing a house is about math and using comparable data. It's not about your emotions and, oh my God, the schools and I'm going to live here forever. No. Those things could be important, but the number 1 most important thing is reviewing comps in a subject property's subdivision. Now, if you're in a rural area, you want to find comps that are as close as possible to the home that you want to purchase in. So don't forget that, you guys. Use the math, figure out wedge, and figure out cash flow. Now, the second top industry secret is amortization schedules. I'm going to do is use a $300,000 loan at a 6.5% interest rate. And the first thing that I want to show you is if you purchase a home and you get a $300,000 mortgage and you don't pay it down sooner, you're going to pay back $682,000 if you don't refinance. And I want you guys to pay attention to this. If you're one of these people that purchased a home that planned on refinancing when rates go down, say it took 3 years. Don't forget, if you refinance right now, you totally throw away your future equity, because these first 3 years of interest right here, that total $57,000, guess what? You have to pay that $57,000 all over again. So if you refinance and you don't shorten the term of your loan, you're literally a glorified renter that is making the lender, instead of your landlord, filthy rich, guys, filthy rich. Just to put this in perspective, if you guys paid on a $300,000 loan, if you paid $19,200 and you got that loan amount down to $280, you guys would save 5 years and $97,000. Now, one other thing, if you pay biweekly means 1 extra payment per year. So let me show you what 2 extra payments per year would be. 2 payments would be $3,792 extra yearly payment. Let me calculate this. Now look at this, guys. I turn a 30-year loan into a 20-year loan, and I save for interest $144,000. So a lot of times it's a much better idea, instead of refinancing, to start this whole thing over again. Just pay extra money towards the principal. Stop making these banks filthy rich. You guys, they get filthy rich off of your apathy. So I really hope you learn those two things. Let's listen to one more TikTok video of another homeowner that's going to warn you, hey, be careful.
They got me, y'all. And I knew they was going to get me, but I didn't know they was going to get me this hard. It's only been 6 months and it's and my mortgage is going up $700. I knew it was gonna be crazy because the previous owners, like the people who bought it to renovate it, they were only paying land value, even though the house had been on the market with this current rate and a current county appraisal for X amount of months. But I don't know, somehow they only were paying land value. And then I lost my ID twice. It took them 3 months to send me an ID right before the election. So I wasn't able to file my homestead exemption. And my escrow now has an overage of the amount that I owe in taxes, which is going to put my payment up to $700. So, yeah.
The housing market's changing. Is it changing as quickly as we would have liked it? No, it's taking a little bit of time. There's a lot of fraud, greed, and corruption and inflation out there. So it's taking time for the pendulum to swing, but nevertheless it is. And I wanted to give you guys now an update on my own personal home buying decision. Now, obviously I live in Texas and I live in Houston, and the market is changing like crazy. I have so much inventory right now. I can find many homes. It's not even hard anymore that have 20% to 30% in equity. So plenty of wedge. Unfortunately, we have a massive problem here, specifically in Houston and really all of Texas, where the fraud is so bad from the Central Appraisal District that property taxes and homeowners insurance unrelated to the property taxes has skyrocketed, you guys. Now, because of all of those things, the reason why I haven't bought a house right now, even though I have found a house that also cash flows, so I found 20 to 30% in wedge plus cash flow, the reason why I'm not buying right now, it's spring and summer. I don't ever want to buy a house at this time of year. I would rather wait for the winter because almost 100% of the time, you're going to find more distress selling and better deals during the winter. Now, I don't know what's going to happen this winter. I suspect that there will be metro areas in Florida specifically, Arizona, California, and Texas that have double-digit price decline by the end of the year. So my overall plan is to continue to hold, but to continue to look and never ever settle on the biggest investment of my life. And I'll continue to keep you guys updated. And don't forget, you guys, we've made a mega platform for you guys to use that's 100% free. And if you guys take these courses, if you look at the material, it will help you become a winner on the other side of this recession that we're obviously going through right now. Other than that, guys, let me know if you like this video, comment below, share the stories about what you're going through in the housing market. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck and I hope you win.